These days, DAWs like Ableton Live, for example, have so many amazing tools that there's not that much need anymore for all these fancy third-party plugins. But there's still some plugins which, in my opinion, can just be replaced by most of the stock tools that you have. And I'm going to talk about 5 of those in this video. To make things a bit more interesting, I'm going to show you more than 5 plugins which I use in my productions all the time. But some of them are kind of replaceable by stock plugins and some of them are irreplaceable in my opinion. We can kind of go along together and figure out which one is which and why. But let's jump right into the first one. And here we have FilterFreak by Soundtoys. They make amazing tools in general. And this is your typical filter where if we, for example, have a square wave coming out of analog, we can filter that. We can add some resonance, of course. We can then modulate the filter. We have different tweaking options like drive the filter in different ways, which will result in a different type of distortion, and also how the resonance behaves will be slightly different. So it's your typical filter kind of, right? And you might be thinking, okay, we have auto filter in Ableton Live where you can also control, if we turn this off, the frequency, we have the resonance. We can modulate this. We also have different drive options. For example, the MS2 emulates Korg's MS20. So you might be thinking, hey, why would I need a filter like this if I have auto filter? So definitely replaceable, right? For me, to be honest, having one filter that works like this is kind of necessary, and let me explain why. So an auto filter, no matter what we do, how much we push the resonance, or how much drive we add, or what type we use, we will always get a type that stays the same down here and then just boosts the resonance. So if you see, even if I move the resonance, this part here stays at the same level. And that's the same. Let's just take one more filter type. That's always the case. In the sound that I really like, I need at least one filter or some which kind of dip everything that's happening below the cutoff frequency. And that's something that you can even see here visually in FilterFreak, that if you boost the resonance, the rest actually goes down. And here visually, you see nothing happens, but even if you check just for the sound, that doesn't happen. And it just results in a slightly different but important sound. Where especially if you then later add like reverbs and delays and stuff like this, it really changes the sound. Like here it gets thinner, right? Let's take this. You will always have this fat and low bass kind of. There's actually one workaround that gets somewhat close to that, but doesn't completely cut it for me. If you pick different filter types here, you also have one which is called Morph Filter. It gives you this extra slider here, which then, as you can see, you can morph between different types. So here you're morphing between a high cut and a band pass. So basically, if you group this together, for example, and want to use the macros, you could then map, for example, the resonance to one macro and then also map the morph to the same. Turn off that once again. So now if you push the resonance, you can see we're actually going down below, right? But since you're morphing it, it's not exactly the same as the sound which I like, but at least you can get somewhat close with it. For me, it's a must-have, FilterFreak, not necessarily FilterFreak, but at least one filter that has this type of behavior. But let's jump to the next one. Up next, we have ShaperBox by Cableguys, and I've been using this for ages as a volume shaper, especially for sidechaining and things like this. And I really like that you have MIDI trigger options. So even when like some latency problems happen in Ableton Live, you can still get it to be really nice and tight. Has this really cool slider that can help you quickly to decide how to draw this in. So I've been using this for a long time. And even if you don't use that to kind of shape the volume of something, you can do it for the width, filter, panning and stuff like this. So that's always been a tool which I grab, especially for sidechain compression or volume shaping. But actually now in live, we of course have the shaper. You can use this to modulate pretty much anything and map this to any sound. You can also, if you have a utility, for example, do that for the width. So basically ShaperBox these days, I wouldn't need anymore. Can also, we obviously will have to grab this in something. We can then say, okay, let's map this to the volume or something like this. and then we can easily decide how to set this up. So for me, it's still a bit faster to use ShaperBox, but you can do probably most of the things or almost anything that ShaperBox does with Max for Live tools using the shaper that's available. So up next, we have the Pro MB by FabFilter, which is a multiband compressor. There actually is a multiband compressor in Ableton Live, which is called Multiband Dynamics. It's also famous for this preset called OTT, which kind of just crushes everything and makes this modern sound, which I'm not always looking for, but I've used it in the past. And here you kind of have three options, three different bands where you can either do upward compression, downward compression, and things like that. But for me, this is a little bit weird and difficult to use for like very quick multiband dynamics actions, let's just say. So here in the Pro MB, you can just really easy like select different bands and set everything up. And for me, I didn't want to talk too much about mixing in this video. It's more about making music. But if I adjust certain sounds, like here, for example, we have this synth thing, which came from a loop. There's lots of different stuff going on. You like this stuff coming in. And I wanted to control this mid band, but not mess with the top stuff up here. And for that, you kind of need multiband compression. I don't go crazy when it comes to mixing, but sometimes adjusting certain sounds in almost like a sound design matter, I need a good, quick to use multiband compressor for that. So for me, the Pro MB is definitely a must have. It's my favorite one. It's just clean and straightforward, you know. You could probably dial in something in here as well, but it's not that easy and nice to use in my opinion. So Pro MB definitely on the list of must-haves for external plugins. I don't think there's anything in the library that gets close to doing what this thing does. Let's maybe stick with FabFilter for a second. Here we have Saturn, which is basically a distortion unit. You can choose between tape, tubes, saturation, amp saturation. So you basically have everything in here, what you need distortion-wise. And then you also have some pretty cool effects that can do some crazy stuff. So for example, let's say we have this little synth sound worm here. Initially sounded like this. So here you can do, besides doing your normal distortion or even controlling dynamics a bit with tape, you have all these different options. And I go to use this quite a bit, but if I'm completely honest, there are many amazing distortion options in Ableton Live. For example, I built this little thing. It's a tool that you can get for free over on my website, ulienshaus.com, where you can pick the different drive settings for the saturator and then also the type. And with the saturator, for example, it's an underrated tool. It sounds pretty good and has these different options, you know. So this is something that you can grab to get something similar going. Then you also have the amp, of course, which is a really cool distortion unit as well. And there are even more options distortion-wise. So I say Saturn can be nice to have, but it's not a must-have in my opinion. Let's jump into a quick one. I use Lounge Lizard all the time, which is a Rhodes piano emulation. You have these different style Rhodes models and things like that you can have in here and some processing options. This is all really nice. In this context, for example, I use this chord tool to create this. In context. Could maybe be a bit louder here. And Lounge Lizard, for me, I use it all the time, but it's pretty much replaceable. If you, for example, get the Faceplant electric piano by Ableton Live, it actually has the exact same engine as Lounge Lizard is using. So you might be surprised. I already mentioned this in another video, but you might be surprised how many of the tools in Ableton Live are at the same level as other things, or sometimes even the same product as things you find out there. So Lounge Lizard, replaceable for me. Let's maybe stick with sounds for a second. For example, I of course use Diva all the time, which is a really nice synthesizer, kind of an all-in-one solution with different emulations of vintage synth. I also have a video on this. And then of course, if you want to go for many different synths, you can also get something like the bundle by Arturia, where you will have like a Juno emulation and things like that. So basically talking about sound sources and synthesizers. I have to admit that I like to have all these different options, to have different presets and everything ready to go. But technically with Operator, which is a FM synth, and analog, which is kind of the normal subtractive synthesizer, analog synthesizer emulation, you're pretty much good to go. Even though you just have like 2 oscillators in here and a noise, you can make many, many cool sounds with this. Sometimes it's more the lack of presets, I think, that for specific sounds, right? But you can design many things with this. I also have a video on how to design an 808 cowbell using analog, for example. Feel free to check this one out. I might have to do a preset pack for analog because that's actually a pretty cool sounding synth. And I don't think that you necessarily need that many third-party synth if you, for example, have analog. So up next we have the M-Harmonizer by Melda Production. This is kind of a pitch shifter, chord creator, formant shifter, things like that. And for me, let's go right ahead and say it, it's a must-have tool. Like, I don't have anything in Ableton Live that shifts the formants and things like that in this way. You can technically, if you, for example, have a loop or something like this, get Complex Pro as a warp mode and then kind of work with the formants there. We have Auto Shift, which can technically be used to kind of do something with the formants since we have a formant slider here. But trust me, nothing does it as well as the basic shifter. I use it on chord stabs and this type of thing all the time. So for example, here we have this piano sound. And it can just be a normal piano sound. The moment we kind of gets this really nice old sound. Can make it brighter. So this is really money, and even on hi-hats to kind of take out some formants, make them less harsh and things like that. This is a tool that I can definitely recommend. I would be curious to know if any of you out there really have a nice formant shifter within Ableton Live or maybe in Max for Live option. But for me, this is a must-have. Let's maybe stay with the piano and look at my favorite reverb tool, which is Convology XT. And I use this almost for all my reverbs, because in here you have all these different emulations of reverb units from different times, and you can go really, really back, like into the 80s and things like that. You have different types, spring reverbs, plates. This is a convolution reverb, so they kind of like take a print of what the reverb sounds like, and then it calculates it onto the sound that you're using. So this is really cool, but I have to admit, it's not irreplaceable. And I was surprised how many cool reverbs you actually do have in the convolution reverb of Ableton Live. Because of course you have your normal reverb, you have echo, which can also create reverbs. But sometimes I was looking for a plate or a spring reverb or something like this. I think many people don't realize that you have a lot of that in the convolution reverb of Ableton Live. So if you, for example, go onto the type where you have like real places, which I actually used in a university project for like a video game sound and things like that. But you have made for drums, you have halts, real plates, digital plates, springs. Let's maybe listen to one as an example. Take this one over here. Cool. No plate, plate. Let's maybe check a spring. Could even turn this into like a cool pad sound. So after all, Convology XT, amazing tool in my opinion, irreplaceable, not that much if you consider using the convolution reverb that you have in Ableton Live. So what you see here is the Oscillos Megascope by Schulz Audio. If you manage to finish up some tracks and then want to master them or want to be sure about certain levels, visuals can sometimes really help, especially if you're like producing at home, just on headphones. It can really help to kind of understand what's going on in the waveform. It's really nice to just see certain things which are going on. So for example, if you have a kick, right? I can here really see the envelope, how I made it shorter, and stuff like that. So that's definitely a tool that I want to have. But as it's often the case, we also have some tools like this for free. I'm going to put the link for this one in the description. It's a Max for Live tool, and you can also use it quite nicely to show the waveform of something. So I can just really highly recommend before buying any plugins, or if you're looking for something, there are amazing free Max for Live tools out there, which for me is also a huge reason why you might want to have the suite version of Ableton Lives. There are just so many amazing tools. So I'm using this oscilloscope here because it has some extra features. It's kind of nice to have this as a plugin window, but this one down here, just to see what's going on. And for example, if you're using a limiter, controlling the peak and things like that, it's definitely something that I can recommend as well. So Oscillos Megascope, even though I use it all the time, replaceable in my opinion. But let's keep using this for a second and actually bring something else in here, because a tool that I think everyone should have, which kind of leads into mixing, a little bit of sound design as well, is a good old transient shaper. And I'm using this one right here, the DS10 drum shaper by XLN Audio. And it's really cool because you have these different option, kick, snare, and bass. For example, let's just use it on the kick for a second. We can also see what's going on if we bring in some attack. Kind of boosting that peak over there. We could technically take out the attack and stuff like this. It's just overall a tool that eventually, if you're making groove-based music, you're gonna need. For me, this is actually one of the tools that I definitely need. Doesn't have to be specifically this drum shaper or transient shaper. I picked this one. There are some other ones out there, but a good transient shaper, in my opinion, is something kind of missing in Ableton Live. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But let's move on to the next one. But let's move to the next one and stay in this project for a second. I have this synth sound right here, just to demonstrate. And one tool which I really like to kind of switch up sounds, turn it into something else, is Guitar Rig by Native Instruments. I know they've been kind of having a tough time now. I don't know what's the latest news on with this company, but Guitar Rig is one of the tools which I like to use because, in my opinion, it's always nice to mingle with sounds that you already have in your projects and turn them into something more. And I mean, this sound is kind of basic, but if we... It's funny, dirty drums. You can very quickly turn that into a million different things. You have all these different presets out here. And I know they're kind of for guitars, but I will find a lot of stuff in there where I can just click through and all of a sudden I have a completely new sound that kind of works with what I already have in the project. For me, Guitar Rig, or having something ready that kind of mingles with sounds in a way that you get them from something specific to something completely else in no time, something that I definitely need and want. You do have these, if you, for example, go on audio effects, you have some audio effects racks that you can use from Ableton Live. They are going to do some things with them, so kind of worth it to check this out. Let's check out maybe one here, the diamond. What does that do? Okay, then we can just replace it with something else. But as you can tell, okay, this does something more, but I'm not super happy with the presets and racks that you find in here. So for me, Guitar Rig is actually also one of the must-have tools for me personally, and you might want to have a different effect rack that can create something very quickly. But this is kind of a live and time saver where you can quickly create something original, but you kind of have the help of these presets, right? So Guitar Rig, definitely on the must-have list for me. So let's finish off with some honorable mentions. I mean, there are really, really cool plugins out there, right? And other stuff that I definitely like to use is, for example, RC20, a retro color, kind of an all-in-one solution with all these different options that we have in here. And also an honorable mention might be Tantra, for example, which I also use on quite a few things. Kind of a sequencer where you can have all these different glitchy effects very quickly. But in my opinion, these are also things that you can kind of replicate in Ableton Live. And in the next coming videos, I'm actually going to break some of these tools down, RC20 or Tantra, and show how you can maybe replicate that with just the stock tools that you have in Ableton Live. Yeah, let me know in the comments if I missed any must-have plugins, or if, in your opinion, some of the plugins that I say are must-haves can be replaced by stuff in Ableton Live. I know there's a vast library of Max for Live tools. I don't know all of them, but yeah, looking forward to see you in the next video. Ciao.